CIET NCERT presents the audiobook Exploring Society, India and Beyond, textbook of social science for class 6.
Glossary, page 209. Abundance, a very large quantity of something. Accolade, an expression of praise or an acknowledgement of merit. Adaptation, how a living thing changes slightly over time to survive in a changing environment. Afterlife, a life that begins after death. Allotment, the giving or sharing out of something. Altitude, the height of an object above sea level. Ancient, of or from a long time ago. Archaeologist, a person who studies human history and prehistory through the excavation of sites and the analysis of physical remains. Ascetic, someone who engages in rigorous spiritual practices to attain a higher consciousness. Astronaut, a person who is trained to travel in a spacecraft into outer space. Attachment, the condition of having a bond with someone or something, usually through sentiment or habit. Auspicious, favorable or bringing luck. For instance, an auspicious beginning. Avalanche, the sudden fall of snow, ice or rocks from a mountainside, often occurring when the snow starts melting. Bay, a broad inlet of the sea where the land curves inwards. Bewildering, confusing or perplexing. Bitumen, a black sticky substance such as tar or asphalt. Bonds, connections. Bulldozer, a heavy vehicle with a large blade in front used to move soil or rocks. Cardinal direction, one of the four main directions, north, south, east and west. Carve, to cut, a hard material in order to produce an object, design. Chant, to sing, often loudly, rhythmically and repeatedly. Choke, to have severe difficulty in breathing because of a constricted or obstructed throat or a lack of air. Chore, a routine task, especially a household one. Clink, a sharp ringing sound. Cloudburst, a sudden violent rainstorm. Collaborate, work jointly on an activity or project. Collapse, to suddenly fall down or give way, such a fall. Commemorate, to mark the memory of someone or something, often through a ceremony. Commonality, a sharing of features or characteristics. Page 210. Conceive, to form a mental representation of something. Confiscate, when some authority seizes someone's property. Confluence, the meeting point of two or more rivers. Consciousness, the quality or state of being aware, for instance, of something within oneself. Conservation, the prevention of wasteful use of a resource. Constellation, a group of stars forming a recognizable pattern in the sky. Constitution, a document that spells out the basic principles and laws of a nation. Consult, to seek information or advice from. Consumption, eating or drinking something, purchasing goods or services. Context, the background or setting for an event, statement or idea in terms of which it can be fully understood. Convention, a way in which something is usually done or agreed upon. Conventional, based on or in accordance with a convention. Convicted, having been declared guilty by a jury or a judge of an offense. Cooperative, a group of people who voluntarily come together to meet their economic and social needs in a formal way. Cosmos, the world or the universe as an ordered and harmonious system. Crucial, of great importance. Cultivate, to prepare and use land or any space for crops or gardening. Dairy, a place where milk is collected and stored. Decentralize, to transfer control to local offices or authorities. Dedicated, devoted to a task or purpose. Defy, to openly resist or refuse to obey. Deity, a god or goddess. Deliberate, done consciously and intentionally. Delightful, highly pleasing. Depict, to represent or describe through words or a drawing, painting, etc. Descending, moving or sloping downwards. Destiny, events that will necessarily happen to a particular person or a power that controls future events. Deviate, to change from the usual way. Digging, extracting from the ground by moving earth. Dispute, a disagreement or argument. Distress, extreme anxiety, sorrow or pain. Diverse, showing a great deal of variety. Economic sectors, broad groups of activities that help with the economic prosperity of a nation. Eliminate, to completely remove or get rid of. Page 211. Elite, higher layers of the society such as rulers, officials, administrators, and often priests. Empower, to give someone or a group of people the authority or power to do something. Empowerment, the empowering of someone or a group of people. Encounter, unexpectedly meeting with someone or something. Endanger, to put someone or something at risk or in danger. Enforce, to cause something to happen by necessity or force. Engrave, to cut or carve a text or a design on some hard surface, such as stone or metal. Enhance, to further improve the quality, value, or extent of something. Enrich, improve or enhance the quality or value of. Enshrine, to preserve something highly respected in a special place or text, etc. Epic, a long poem generally narrating the adventures of heroes and other great figures of the past. Equator, an imaginary line on the surface of the earth that runs at 0-degree latitude, dividing the earth into the northern and southern hemispheres. Era, a distinct period of time. Erosion, the loss of soil, rock, or land caused typically by the action of the sea, wind, or rain. Eruption, a sudden outbreak of something, typically something unwelcome or noisy. Estuary, the place where a river meets the sea. Evolution, the process by which different kinds of living organisms have developed from earlier forms during the history of the earth. Excavate, to dig out. Excavator, a person who excavates an archaeological site, a large machine that digs and moves earth. Excursion, a short journey or trip, especially one taken as a leisure activity. Exemplify, to illustrate by giving an example or to be an example of. Exert, to make a physical or mental effort. Expanse, a wide, continuous area. Exploitation, the action or fact of treating someone unfairly in order to benefit from their work. Exploration, the activity of searching and finding out about something. Export, goods or services produced in one country and sold in another country. Extraction, the action of extracting something, especially using effort or force. Facilitate, to make an action or process easier. Factory, building or group of buildings where final products are manufactured or put together. Fauna, the animal life of a particular region or period of time. Favorable, to the advantage of someone or something. Page 212. Fee, a payment made in exchange for professional advice or services. Figurine, a statuette, especially one of a human form. Financial, relating to money. Finished goods, goods that have completed the manufacturing process. Flash flood, a sudden local flood often caused by a cloudburst. Flora, the plant life of a particular region or period of time. Folklore, the traditional beliefs, customs, and stories of a community passed through the generations by word of mouth. Foothills, a low hill at the base of a mountain or mountain range. Formulate, to express or prepare methodically. Fortification, a massive wall surrounding a settlement or city, generally for protective purposes. Fossils, remains or impressions of parts of plants or animals found preserved in a petrified form within layers of soil or rocks. Foster, to encourage the development of something. Fragile, easily broken or damaged. Framework, a basic structure underlying a system, concept, or text. Franchise, a constitutional right or privilege, or a right granted to an individual or group, enabling them to carry out specified commercial activities. Full-fledged, completely developed or established. Fundamental, something that is very important and forms the base or foundation for something. Generation, all of the people born and living at about the same time regarded collectively. Genetics, the branch of biology that studies how, in plants, animals, or humans, certain features and characteristics get passed down from one generation to the next. Glaring, giving out or reflecting a strong light. Gratitude, the quality of being thankful, appreciation for kindness. Greenhouse farming, growing plants in a controlled environment like a glass or plastic structure to improve crop yields. Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, the mean solar time at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, London, used as a reference time for the world. Gregorian calendar, the calendar now used internationally. Gulf, a part of the sea nearly surrounded with land. Hailstone, a small ball of ice falling from the sky in showers. Hamlet, a small settlement or small village. Harass, to create an unpleasant or hostile situation. Harmoniously, with harmony. Page 213. Harmony, the state of being without conflict or disagreement, the pleasing quality of any situation. Healer, someone who uses traditional practices to relieve or heal diseases. Herd, a herd is a large group of animals. To herd is to keep or look after such a group. Heritage, valued objects and qualities such as historic buildings and cultural traditions that have been passed down from previous generations. Historian, a person who studies and writes about the past. History, the study of the human past. Homemaker, a person who looks after a home, including housework. House, an assembly where laws are discussed or passed. Immense, extremely large or great. Implementation, the process of putting a decision or plan into effect. Import, the purchase of goods by one country from other countries. Indian Standard Time, IST, the official time observed throughout India, which is 5 hours and 30 minutes ahead of GMT. Ingredient, an element of a whole, often any of the foods or substances that are combined to make a particular dish. Inhabitants, people who live in a particular place. Inscriptions, words or texts written or cut in some material such as stone or metal. Interdependence, the dependence of two or more people or things on each other. International date line, an imaginary line on the Earth's surface located at about 180 degrees longitude, where, by convention, one calendar day is added or subtracted when crossed. Intimidating, something or someone that makes you feel scared or nervous. Intrigue, causing interest or curiosity about something. Invaders, a person or group that forcefully enters a country or region. Invocation, the calling for the assistance or presence of some superior being. Judiciously, with good judgment or sense. Landscape, all the visible features of an area of land. Landslide, the sudden collapse of a mass of earth or rock from a mountainside. Lava, the molten liquid rock that flows out of a volcano or the rock so formed once it has cooled off. Lichen, a plant-like organism that generally clings to rocks, walls or trees. Livestock, farm animals regarded as an asset. Logistics, the detailed organization and implementation of a complex operation. Manifest, to make evident through actions, events or occurrences. Page 214. Manuscript, a document written by hand on some material such as bark, cloth, palm leaf or paper. Marine, related to or found in the oceans and seas. Market, a place where people engage in the exchange of goods and services. Marvel, to experience intense surprise or interest. Meager, lacking in quantity or quality. Mechanism, part of a machine or system of parts working together in a machine. Meridian of longitude, an imaginary half circle that runs from the North Pole to the South Pole on the surface of the Earth and indicates how far east or west a point on the Earth's surface is from the prime meridian. Metallurgy, the technique of extracting metals from nature, purifying or combining them, as well as the scientific study of metals and their properties. Meticulous, showing great attention to detail, very careful and precise. Middleman, persons who buy goods from producers and sell them to consumers at a fee. Migrate, people moving from one place to another for some length of time. Monetary, relating to money or currency. Monetary value, value of something that can be measured in terms of money. Money's worth, the monetary value that people place on an object based on the benefit they derive from it. Monk, a man who leaves life in the world to become part of a community, leading a life dedicated to religious or spiritual pursuits. Montane forest, a type of forest that grows in mountainous regions. Moss, a small green plant without flowers or true roots, often spreading in a cushion-like cover. Motto, a short sentence or phrase chosen as the beliefs or ideals of an individual, family, or institution. Narrative, a story or account of events, experiences, or interactions typically presented in a structured format. Native, a person born in a specified region or country and still lives there. Navigate, the act of directing a ship, aircraft, etc. from one place to another, or the science of finding a way from one place to another. Navigation, the act of navigating. Nominal, in name only. North Pole, the point in the northern hemisphere where the Earth's axis of rotation meets the Earth's surface, located at 90 degrees north. Nuclear family, a family consisting of parents or a parent and their children, but not including aunts, uncles, grandparents, etc. Numerous, great in number, many. None, the female equivalent of a monk. Page 215. Offshoot, a thing that develops from something else. Orchard, an enclosed piece of land planted with fruit trees. Oversee, to supervise a person or persons and their work. Parallels of latitude, imaginary lines on the surface of the earth that run east to west, parallel to the equator, and indicate how far north or south a point on the earth's surface is from the equator. Paraphrase, to express the meaning of something written or spoken, but using different words, especially to achieve greater clarity or to summarize. Pasteurization, a process by which milk is preserved by heating it to a specific temperature to kill harmful bacteria. Payment in kind, a non-cash payment received for the work performed. Perceive, to be aware of something or someone. Perceptible, that can be seen, heard, felt, tasted, smelled, or somehow noticed. Perspective, the way you see or think about some issue. Pigment, a substance that gives something a particular color when it is present in it or added to it. Pilgrim, a person who journeys to a sacred place for religious reasons. Pitch in, to intervene by contributing something. Precipitation, water from the atmosphere reaching the ground in any form. Rain, snow, and hail are the most common forms of precipitation. Precise, marked by accuracy of expression or detail. Prime meridian, the meridian of longitude designated at 0 degree, which passes through Greenwich, England. Proportion, a part, share, or number considered in comparison with a whole. Prosperity, the state of being prosperous. Prosperous, having or bringing wealth and success. Pulses, a category of crops that includes beans, peas, lentils, that is dal. Radiate, to emit energy, especially light or heat, in the form of rays or waves. Regulate, to control by means of rules and regulations. Relief, a design that stands out from the surface of a panel which may be of stone, wood, ceramic, etc. Renovation, making something, such as a building, new again. Renowned, known or talked about by many people, famous. Reservoir, a large natural or artificial lake used as a source of water supply. Resilience, the capacity to meet challenges and difficulties, adapt to them or overcome them. Resolve, to settle or find a solution to. Retail, the sale of goods in small quantities for use by the end consumer. Page 216. Reverence, deep respect for someone or something. Rob, to take property unlawfully from a person or place. Rounded off, approximated to a simpler number. Salary, a fixed regular payment generally paid monthly by an employer to an employee. Scholar, a specialist in a particular branch of study. Scorching, very hot. Sea level, the average level of the surface of the oceans, also called mean sea level. Sea, a large body of salty water that is smaller than an ocean and partly or completely surrounded by land. Secondary sector, the group of activities that involves processing of raw materials derived from the primary sector into products for sale or consumption. Seeker, a sage, yogi, philosopher, or intellectual who seeks the truths of this world. Segregation, the action or state of setting someone or a group of people or something apart from others. Settlement, a place where people establish a community. Shrine, a sacred space or place. Source of history, a place, a person, text, or an object from which we gather information about some past event or period. South Pole, the point in the southern hemisphere where the Earth's axis of rotation meets the Earth's surface, located at 90 degrees south. Species, a group of closely related living beings that have similar characteristics and breed with each other. Spectacular, beautiful in a dramatic and eye-catching way. Spiritual, concerned with something greater than oneself, such as the spirit or soul, Atma in Sanskrit and many Indian languages. Spirituality, the search for or attainment of a deeper or higher dimension beyond our current personality. Standard time zone, a zone of typically 15 degrees of longitude wide, which corresponds to 1 hour of time difference from the next time zone. Statecraft, the management of state affairs. Steep, rising or falling sharply. Stirring, causing excitement or strong emotion. Subcontinent, a large distinguishable part of a continent. Submerge, cause something to go underwater. Surge, a sudden powerful forward or upward movement, for instance by a crowd or by a natural force such as the tide. Synthetic, not natural, artificial. Page 217. Terrace farming, cultivation on steps of land that are cut into mountain slopes. Terrain, a piece or stretch of land from the point of view of its physical features. Terrestrial, on or relating to the earth. Tertiary sector, the group of activities that involves the provision of services which complement both primary and secondary sectors, such as transportation, banking, etc. Testimony, evidence or proof of something. Transform, to make a marked change in the form, nature, or appearance. Transgender, someone who is born as a person of one sex but relates more to the experiences of a person of the other sex. Transmit, to pass on something from one person or place to another. Tributary, a river that flows into a larger river or lake. Underlying, lying or situated under something. Underprivileged, not enjoying the same standard of living or rights as the majority of people in a society. Undulating, moving with a smooth up and down motion. UNESCO, this stands for United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, which promotes dialogue between people and nations through education, science and culture. Unstitched, having no stitches. Unsown, upliftment, a raise in the level of something, an improvement. Urbanization, the process by which towns and cities are formed. Valley, a lower area between hills or mountains, often with a river or stream flowing through it. Variation, a different or distinct form or version of something. Vital, absolutely necessary, essential. Voluntary, acting of one's own free will. Wage, a payment made by the employer to the worker for a specific period of time. Warehouse, a large building used for storing products before they are sold, used or rented out. Wealth, an abundance of valuable possessions. Weaving, forming cloth by interlacing threads of yarn. Welfare, health, prosperity and well-being. Widespread, found or distributed over a large area or number of people. Worldview, a certain view or understanding of the world, its origin or workings. Note, the definitions in this glossary have been simplified, keeping in mind the grade and the particular context in which the words defined are used in this textbook. Glossary ends here.
Exploring Society, India and Beyond. You were just listening to this audiobook. Textbook of Social Science for Class 6. Narration, Gaurav Marwaha. Sound recordist, Manju Kumari. Assistance in production, Muhammad Shamim Khan. Directed and produced by Vimlesh Chaudhary. This audiobook is presented to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.